Good morning, everyone. This is Jeff from the Cyber Pro podcast, back with another episode today. We have Matthew Canham, who's going to tell us a little bit about the human aspect of vulnerability. So on that, good morning, Matthew. Thank you for being with us. Can you share with us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, well, hello, and thank you for having me, Jeff. I really appreciate being on the show. I'm a cybersecurity consultant. I work primarily in the area of the human aspects of cybersecurity. So, security policy, insider threat programs, and also our company provides data analytics services to interpret the human log data that they have. Um, in addition to that, I'm also a research professor at the University of Central Florida. And again, my research focuses on the human aspects of cybersecurity. Within that, I really focus in three directions, primarily remote online social engineering. And this is where some of my deep fake and synthetic media social engineering comes into play, looking at how to make those attacks more effective and also how people are vulnerable to them. I also look at human AI teaming in like SOC teams and security teams, as well as the security of autonomous systems. Prior to my current position, I investigated cybercrimes for the US government for a few years.
Wow. Love to hear more about how the humans are the biggest gap. I think we talked about that a little bit before the podcast, but let's get to question number two, which is share with us the most interesting or fascinating aspect about being a cyber professional during these crazy times.
Well, for me, I really have to say it's the people that I get to meet and that I get to work with. Obviously I meet you know massive cross section of people, but I think probably my favorite are the students that I work with at the university. We've got a great hacking team. We've got a great hacking program, and the students, what they come up with, and yeah, just some of the hacks that they invent, it just blows me away. And they think of the most amazing tools and techniques, and yeah, they continue to astound me. That's my favorite part.
Astound. That's wonderful because, as we all know, cybersecurity is not only a top concern, it's growing by leaps and bounds every day. So it's fascinating to hear. And we'll try to get back to it on a bonus question about those students. What when you hear the word cybersecurity and that it's unfortunately growing in a not positive way, what does that mean to you?
Well, sometimes I actually think this is the wrong concern to have, because what we really should be focused on is information security. And cybersecurity focuses on the technology, but not what the technology is there to do. Technology is there to facilitate using and protecting information. So we think about the CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So if we look at one of the top concerns right now, in the world in general, is ransomware, right? If you ask someone who's outside of our area, what do they think about when they think about cybersecurity? They're gonna say ransomware, because that's what gets all the press. Well, my question is how does the ransomware get there? Ransomware gets there because someone downloads something that they shouldn't, they click on a link that they shouldn't. Humans are the primary attack vector for malware, including ransomware, according to the Verizon data breach incident report. And some things that we're seeing with ransomware that's really interesting, coming back to this idea of information security, is um, classically it encrypts the data, right? That's what the ransomware does, is it encrypts the data so we can't get to it. So that's an attack on availability. But what are we starting to see now? Now we're starting to see that the attackers are exfilling that data, and they're holding it on their own local systems. They're encrypting our data, so we have the availability attack. But then if we don't pay that ransom, now they're threatening to release that on Pastebin or someplace on the dark web, a confidentiality attack. And something I'm speculating on is how long is it going to be until we start seeing attacks on integrity. So one can imagine that while someone's in there messing around with our systems, they're switching up data and maybe poisoning our data caches. And I think that's something that's coming. So part and parcel with that, what we do is we really try to focus on shoring up that human attack surface and making it more resilient against attacks. And I think to do that, we really need to have, obviously the training and awareness, but also good policies and procedures in place to prevent these kinds of things. For too long, we've been focusing on, buying the blinky box to prevent the attack, or just checking compliance boxes, and not really ensuring that the users are learning what they really need to learn to be able to avoid these attacks.
Yeah, that's another. I think I'm going to go back to that as bonus question number two. Uh, for those of us who want to learn a little bit more about you, your consulting company beyond Layer 7, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, Belay7, that's BELAY number 7.com. You can also reach me at drmatthewcanham.com. It's drmatthewcanham.com. And yeah, please reach out.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, let's wrap this up with a fun question, because
All
everybody
right.
likes fun. At least I hope we do. What is your favorite piece of retro technology that makes you smile?
You know, I have to say the BlackBerry. I know that that is like a hated piece of tech for a lot of people, but I actually really miss being able to press physical keys. I'm not a big fan of the touch screen, so that's my favorite retro tech.
Love it. Matthew, again, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate you coming to the Cyber Bro podcast. And for those of you who don't know, and I hope you do, we post 2 to 3 episodes every week on different viewpoints and different verticals of the giant world that we live in called cybersecurity. So until next time, thank you. Matthew, be well.
Thank you.